The digital clock on my dashboard read 3:47 p.m. when my phone vibrated. I was just finishing a client meeting downtown. Another successful negotiation for Riker Construction, the company I had built from nothing over 15 years of relentless work. I glanced at the unknown number, assuming it was another contractor. Your house now. Your kids aren't safe. My blood froze. I called home immediately. No answer from Vanessa. No answer from my son's or daughter's phones, either. I abandoned my briefcase on the conference table and sprinted to my car, breaking every speed limit between downtown Portland and our Lake Oswego estate. The tires of my Audi screeched as I pulled into the driveway, noticing both Vanessa's Range Rover and, bizarrely, my brother Perry's pickup truck. Something was very wrong. Perry was supposed to be in Seattle until next week. I burst through the front door. The grand foyer suddenly felt like the entrance to a mausoleum. The house was eerily quiet, except for hushed voices coming from the living room. "Vanessa!" I shouted. "Dylan! Meredith!" I rounded the corner to find Vanessa standing rigid beside the fireplace, her face drained of color. Perry stood at the bottom of the staircase, blocking the way up. "Nolan," Perry said, palms raised. "You need to calm down, man. Where are my kids?" I demanded, noticing Vanessa's smudged mascara and trembling hands. "They're fine," Perry insisted. "But don't go upstairs. It's not what you think." Vanessa suddenly lurched forward. "They made me. Please don't look in their rooms." A chill ran down my spine. "Who made you do what?" When neither answered, I shoved past Perry and took the stairs two at a time. I heard their footsteps hurrying behind me. Vanessa's desperate plea echoed through the hallway. I pushed open Dylan's door first, empty, then Meredith's, also empty. Finally, I reached the guest bedroom at the end of the hall and twisted the knob. What I witnessed was unimaginable. My children, Dylan, 17, and Meredith, 15, sat bound to chairs, duct tape across their mouths, eyes wide with fear. Standing over them was a man I recognized instantly. Lawrence Woodfield, my business partner and supposed friend of 12 years. "Nolan," Lawrence said, lowering the gun he had been holding. "Right on time. What the hell is this?" I roared, lunging forward, only to feel Perry grab me from behind. "Easy," Lawrence warned, raising the gun again. "This is a conversation long overdue." Dylan and Meredith struggled against their restraints, their muffled screams trapped behind the gags. I forced myself to appear calmer than I felt, shifting into the negotiator's mindset that had built my empire. "Let my kids go, Lawrence. Whatever this is about, it's between us." Lawrence laughed, a hollow sound I had never heard from him before. "It's about family, Nolan. Specifically yours." Vanessa pushed past me, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't have a choice, Nolan." He threatened the kids. Lawrence motioned with his gun. "Show him, Vanessa. Show your husband what you've been hiding." With shaking hands, Vanessa pulled a manila envelope from behind a dresser and handed it to me. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, spanning back years. Vanessa and Lawrence together, intimately. The timestamps revealed a relationship that had been ongoing for nearly a decade. 8 years, Nolan, Lawrence said. 8 years I've been sleeping with your wife while you built us an empire. The revelation struck like a physical blow. 8 years means Meredith, I whispered, looking at my daughter, my supposed daughter, with new eyes. Her features, which I had always attributed to Vanessa's side, suddenly took on a different cast. Lawrence's eyes stared back at me. "The DNA test results have returned. They are here as well. Lawrence has confirmed it. Dylan is yours. Meredith is not." Perry's grip on me loosened. "I only learned of this today, Nolan. Vanessa called me when Lawrence arrived with a gun. I came to help the children. And why tell me now?" I demanded of Lawrence, my mind racing to process this betrayal while simultaneously calculating how to secure my children, at least Dylan, to safety. "Because you are pushing me out," Lawrence snarled. "The Mitchell contract. You are restructuring to minimize my stake. After everything I have contributed." "You contributed nothing but lies," I spat. "I built Riker Construction. You rode my coattails." Lawrence pressed the gun to Meredith's temple, causing her to whimper behind the tape. "You think you can simply discard me? That my daughter should grow up calling another man father?" In that moment, rage crystallized within me into something cold and focused. I would get my family to safety. Then I would destroy everyone involved in this betrayal. even if that included my wife of 20 years and the girl I had raised as my daughter. What do you want? I asked, my voice deadly calm. New terms, 50% ownership, full partnership, and an acknowledgement of Meredith as my daughter. Behind us, sirens wailed in the distance. Lawrence's eyes widened. You called the police, he accused Vanessa. I didn't, she began, but Perry cut her off. I triggered the silent alarm when I first arrived, he admitted. I was trying to buy time. Lawrence panicked, waving the gun between us. In that split second of distraction, I charged, tackling him to the ground. The gun discharged, the bullet splintering the ceiling as we wrestled. I slammed his wrist against the hardwood floor until the weapon clattered away. Police stormed the house moments later, finding me with my knee pressed into Lawrence's throat, his face turning purple, my children still bound in their chairs, and my wife and brother watching in horror as 15 years of restrained fury finally broke free. Violence erupted all at once. As the officers pulled me away from Lawrence, a clarity I had never before known settled over me. Every person in that room, except for Dylan, had betrayed me, and I would never, ever forgive any of them. The next 48 hours passed in a haze of police statements, lawyer consultations, and uncomfortable hospital visits. Lawrence was arrested for kidnapping and assault. Vanessa, after extensive questioning, was released pending further investigation into her role in the incident. I moved Dylan and myself into the Four Seasons downtown while I processed what had happened and what would come next. Meredith stayed with Vanessa at her sister's place, a development that brought me no pain, only a cold indifference. You should eat something, Dylan said, watching me stare out the hotel window at the city lights below. At 17, he suddenly seemed older, more perceptive. You haven't had anything since yesterday. I turned to my son, my only true family now, and managed a grim smile. I'm not hungry, Dad. He hesitated. What happens now with Mom and Meredith and everything? I sat beside him on the plush hotel sofa. Your mother and I are done. There's no coming back from this. And Meredith? His voice cracked slightly. Sister or half-sister. They had grown up together. Lawrence's attorneys will push for paternity rights, I said flatly. Which works for me. I have no interest in raising another man's child. Dylan flinched at my coldness, but I could not soften this blow. The ruthlessness that had made me successful in business would now guide my personal life as well. Mom's called 6 times, he said, glancing at my silenced phone. She can call 100. I won't answer. My phone buzzed again. Not Vanessa this time, but my lawyer, Benjamin Alman. What do you have for me, Ben? I asked, stepping onto the balcony for privacy. Lawrence made bail, Ben informed me. His family's got money, and Vanessa's been to see him. The news should have shocked me. I remained unmoved, for nothing could penetrate the icy resolve that had crystallized around my heart. Did you acquire what I requested? Yes, Ben confirmed. Complete access to the company financials, personal accounts, all communications. I have also drafted the divorce papers with the terms you specified, and I must emphasize, they are brutal. Nolan, she receives nothing. No alimony, no property, minimal child support for Meredith, which will terminate once paternity is established. You are invoking the infidelity clause in your prenuptial agreement and adding criminal conspiracy. Good, I replied. File them tomorrow. Is there any other matter? Ben paused. The private investigator begins tomorrow. Full surveillance on all of them. But Nolan, are you certain about this? Revenge will not bring. I am not interested in your personal counsel, Ben, I interrupted. Only your legal expertise. After ending the call, I returned inside to find Dylan asleep on the couch, his face troubled even in slumber. I covered him with a blanket, my hand lingering on his shoulder. I promise you, I whispered, when this is over, we will rebuild. But first, I am going to make every one of them pay. That night, I created a new note on my phone titled simply the list. Upon it, I wrote 4 names. Vanessa Riker, Lawrence Woodfield, Meredith Woodfield, née Riker, Harry Riker. Beside each, I inscribed a single word, unforgivable. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, the same one that had ignited this nightmare. Satisfied with what you found? The truth hurts, doesn't it? This is only the beginning. A friend. I stared at the message, a new realization dawning. Someone else was involved. Someone who had wanted me to uncover my wife's betrayal. But who and why? The game was more intricate than I had imagined, yet I had always been a quick learner. 3 weeks after what Dylan had taken to calling the incident, I sat in my newly rented penthouse office downtown, surrounded by evidence boards and computer screens. The walls, surveillance photographs, financial records, and detailed timelines were displayed. This was a war room, dedicated to comprehending the full scope of the betrayal. My private investigator, Rosalind Baker, a former FBI agent renowned for her ruthless thoroughness, spread a new set of photographs across my desk. Lawrence and Vanessa met again yesterday, she informed me, tapping a particularly damning image of them embracing outside a lakeside cabin. They're not even trying to be discreet anymore. And Perry? I asked, reviewing the other photos. Still playing both sides? He visits you, then reports back to them. Classic middle child syndrome. Can't pick a team. I pinned the new photographs to the appropriate board. 3 weeks of investigation had revealed a betrayal far deeper than a mere affair. Financial trails showed that Lawrence and Vanessa had been systematically siphoning information about my clients and projects for years, allowing Lawrence to swoop in at crucial moments with solutions that made him appear indispensable. What about the text? I asked. Any leads on who sent the original message? Rosalind shook her head. Burner phone, purchased with cash. But I'm still working on facial recognition from the convenience store footage. The mystery texter continued to send messages, each one revealing a new betrayal, each one signed off as a friend. Their identity remained the most intriguing puzzle of all. My phone rang. It was Dylan's school. Mr. Riker, this is Principal Hardrove. There's been an incident with Dylan. He's physically fine, but he's been suspended for assaulting another student. I arrived at the school to find Dylan sitting outside the principal's office, his knuckles bruised, his face hardened with an anger that mirrored my own. He deserved it, Dylan said immediately. Thomas Woodfield was running his mouth about Mom and his uncle Lawrence. Said our whole family was a joke. Lawrence's nephew, of course. Principal Hardrove emerged, looking grave. Mr. Riker, given the circumstances, we're suspending Dylan. For 3 days. Yet, given the provocation and his previously spotless record, no further action will be taken. In the car, Dylan stared out the window. Are you angry with me for defending myself? Never. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. But we do not let emotions control us, Dylan. We channel them, like you do with those boards in your office, he challenged. Mom told me you haven't responded to a single message about visiting Meredith. She cries over it. Meredith is no longer my concern, I said flatly. She was your daughter for 15 years. She doesn't even know Lawrence, and she's terrified of him. I pulled into a parking lot and turned to face my son. What exactly did your mother tell you? That she made a mistake a long time ago, but she never stopped loving you. That Lawrence manipulated her. That she wants to fix things. I laughed bitterly. 8 years isn't a mistake, Dylan. It's a choice made thousands of times. Every morning she woke up beside me was a fresh lie. Dylan's phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression darkening. It's Mom again. She says she needs to talk to you. Something about threats she's receiving. Convenient timing, I observed. But this might be useful. Tell her I'll meet her, a public place, tomorrow at noon, at Cardinal's restaurant. As we pulled back onto the road, my phone chimed with another text, this time from a friend. Looking in the wrong direction, Nolan. The betrayal goes deeper. Check the lake house safe. A friend. The lake house safe contained only important documents and some family heirlooms. I had already checked it after the incident. Nothing appeared disturbed. Unless, change of plans, I told Dylan. We're going to the lake house. In the master bedroom of our vacation property, I entered the code to the wall safe behind the Monet reproduction, Vanessa's favorite painting. Inside, everything looked untouched. Property deeds, insurance policies, my grandmother's jewelry. But something felt wrong. The stack of documents seemed thinner. I removed them. I examined everything, meticulously checking each document against my mental inventory. That was when I noticed it. The false bottom I had installed years ago had been disturbed. The secondary compartment, where I kept my most sensitive information, was empty. Gone were the detailed plans for Riker Construction's next 5 years, including the proprietary building techniques I had developed. Gone was the external hard drive containing client information and project specifications worth millions. Gone was the key to a safety deposit box holding bearer bonds, my emergency fund for Dylan's future. Someone took everything, I murmured. Dylan stood in the doorway. Dad, look at this. He handed me his phone. On the screen was a text from Meredith. "Dylan, I'm scared. Lawrence keeps asking about Dad's projects and gets angry when I don't know anything. Mom cries all the time. Please help us." I stared at the message, pieces falling into place. This wasn't just about an affair or paternity. This was corporate espionage, meticulously planned and executed over years. And now they had my playbook for the future of my company. "What do we do?" Dylan asked. I pocketed his phone. "We spring the trap and let them think they've won." Cardinal's restaurant occupied prime real estate overlooking the river. Its timber and glass architecture stood as a testament to the Pacific Northwest aesthetic. I arrived precisely at noon, choosing a table with clear sight lines to all exits. Vanessa arrived 7 minutes late, a delay calculated to make me wait, a power play I recognized from our marriage. "Thank you for coming," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Despite everything, she was still beautiful. Honey blonde hair falling in waves around a face that had once been the center of my world. "You mentioned threats," I said without preamble. Vanessa's eyes darted around before she reached into her purse, sliding a folded paper across the table. "These started coming 3 days ago," slipped under my door. I found the note left on my car at my sister's door. Unfolding the paper, I saw it was printed in large block letters. "I know what you stole. Return it or suffer." "Any idea what they're referring to?" I asked, keeping my expression neutral. "No," she replied. "That's why I'm terrified. I haven't stolen anything." Her hand trembled as she reached for her water glass. "I think Lawrence might have enemies, people who know about us. And how is Meredith handling all this?" I asked, watching her reaction closely. Pain flashed across her face. "She misses you. She doesn't understand why you won't see her." "I think she understands more than you give her credit for," I countered. "Has she been spending time with Lawrence?" Vanessa hesitated. "He wants to bond with her, but she refuses. Nolan, regardless of biology, you're her father, the only one she's ever known." I leaned forward. "Tell me about the safe at the lake house, Vanessa." Her eyes widened slightly, a tell she'd never been able to control. "What about it?" "Someone emptied the hidden compartment. Took everything of value." "I didn't know there was a hidden compartment," she protested. "Lying still comes easily to you," I observed. "I showed you that compartment on our 10th anniversary, when I put your grandmother's necklace in there for safekeeping." Vanessa's face crumpled. "Nolan, please. Whatever you think happened, it's not what you believe. Lawrence, he changed after you started pushing him out. He became obsessive, controlling. He threatened me, threatened the kids. Yet you still sleep with him?" I said, sliding my phone across the table to show her the surveillance photos. She stared at the images, color draining from her face. "You're having me followed?" "I'm documenting a criminal conspiracy," I corrected. "Corporate espionage, theft of intellectual property, fraud. I never wanted any of this," she whispered. "I made a mistake years ago, and it spiraled. Lawrence has leverage over me now." "What leverage?" "Financial," she said. "I have admitted it. I have been moving money for him, helping him hide assets from his ex-wife. If this comes to light, I could face charges." This was new information, useful, along with the contents of the safe. Vanessa looked down. "Lawrence made me tell him about it. He said he needed insurance against you. I did not know what was inside. I swear." Our food arrived, though neither of us had ordered. The waiter placed salmon before her and steak before me, our usual orders at this restaurant. Vanessa looked confused. I took the liberty, I explained. Old habits. This small gesture, remembering her favorite meal, accomplished exactly what I had intended. A flicker of hope crossed her face. She thought she was making progress, that my resolve might be softening. "Nolan," she said, reaching for my hand across the table. "We built a life together. 20 years, that has to count for something." I allowed the contact briefly before withdrawing. It counted for everything. "That is why your betrayal can never be forgiven." Her eyes filled with tears. "What about Meredith? Will you see her at least? She is innocent in all this." "No one is innocent," I said coldly. "But I will consider it on one condition." "Anything," Vanessa said quickly. "Give me the contents of the safe. Everything Lawrence took." She hesitated. "He keeps everything locked in his home office. I do not have access." "Find a way," I insisted, "or I will proceed with charges against both of you." As we finished our meal in tense silence, my phone buzzed with a text from Dylan. "Uncle Perry just showed up at the penthouse. Says he needs to talk to you urgently." Perfect timing. The pieces were moving exactly as planned. I have to go, I told Vanessa, signaling for the check. Think about what I said. You have 48 hours to get those materials back. As I stood to leave, she grabbed my wrist. Nolan, there is something else you should know. Those threatening notes. Lawrence is getting them, too. Someone else is involved. Someone who knows everything. I nodded as if this were news to me. 48 hours. For hours, Vanessa. Then I will go to the FBI. Perry was pacing my penthouse living room when I arrived, looking as though he had not slept in days. Dylan sat on the couch, watching his uncle with undisguised suspicion. Thank you for coming, Perry said nervously. I have been trying to reach you. I have been busy, I replied, pouring myself a scotch. What is so urgent? Perry glanced at Dylan. Perhaps we should speak privately. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of my son, I insisted. Perry ran a hand through his hair, a gesture we shared, inherited from our father. Lawrence is unraveling, Nolan. He believes someone is trying to destroy him. Karma is a relentless force, I observed coldly. This is serious. He is paranoid and drinking heavily. He is convinced you are behind the threats, the break-ins at his office. I raised an eyebrow. Break-ins? Someone ransacked his home office 2 nights ago. They did not take anything of value, only papers and files. He has installed security cameras everywhere now. This was news to me, and it was concerning. Someone else was moving pieces on the board. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Perry looked pained. Because I am worried about Meredith and Vanessa. They are staying with him now. Lawrence insisted. He claimed they needed protection, but I believe he is just keeping them under control. Dylan stood up. Meredith is with him? She told me she was at Aunt Clarissa's. Lawrence picked them up yesterday, Perry confirmed. Vanessa did not want to go, but she always does what Lawrence wants in the end. I finished my drink bitterly. Perry approached me, his voice lowered. There is more. I found something in Lawrence's desk when I was at his house last week. A draft of new partnership papers for Riker Construction, dated 3 years ago. He has been planning to take control of the company for years. Why show me this now? I demanded. You have clearly known about his intentions. I only discovered it recently, Perry insisted. After everything blew up, and I have been trying to figure it all out. The fact that you had to deliberate over whose side to take tells me everything I need to know, I said dismissively. Perry handed me a USB drive containing Lawrence's financial records, bank accounts, including offshore holdings, transactions between him and Vanessa spanning years, and something more. Payments to someone named Alexander Voss, substantial in amount. I accepted the drive, wary of this sudden cooperation. Why the change of heart, Perry? My brother looked ashamed. Lawrence approached me last month. He wanted me to testify in the custody case for Meredith, to claim I had witnessed you being abusive toward Vanessa over the years. Dylan drew a sharp breath. That's a lie. I know, Perry acknowledged. I refused. That was when I realized how far he was willing to go. This is no longer just about an affair, Nolan. He intends to destroy you completely. After Perry left, I inserted the USB into my computer, scanning the contents while Dylan watched over my shoulder. Can we trust him? Dylan asked. Absolutely not, I confirmed. But the information may still prove useful. The financial records revealed precisely what Perry had described, along with something even more troubling. Alexander Voss had received over $2 million from Lawrence in the past 5 years, payments labeled only as consultation. Who is Alexander Voss? Dylan wondered. I shook my head. I don't know, but I intend to find out. My phone chimed with another text from an unknown sender. Voss is the key. He has been watching you for years. Cabin 17, Mount Hood Forest. Midnight tomorrow. Come alone. A friend. I stared at the message, a chill settling in my stomach. This mysterious ally knew too much, which made them dangerous. What is it? Dylan asked, noticing my expression. I showed him the message. Someone has been manipulating this situation from the beginning. I think it is time I find out who. You can't go alone, Dylan protested. It's obviously a trap. Every trap can become an opportunity, I told him. But you're right, I will need backup. I called. Rosalind listened as I explained the situation. I do not like it, she stated after hearing my plan. But if you are determined, I will position a team in the woods surrounding the cabin. At the first sign of trouble, we move in. That night, while Dylan slept in the guest room, I reviewed everything we had learned. Someone named Voss was receiving payments from Lawrence. My mysterious texter knew about Voss and wanted to meet. Perry had suddenly decided to help me after months of fence-sitting. There were too many variables, too many unknown players. My phone rang. It was Vanessa. "I can get the files," she said without greeting. "Lawrence keeps everything in his safe in the basement. I know the combination." "When?" I asked. "Tomorrow night. He will be at a client dinner until late. I can bring everything to you around midnight." Midnight. That was the same time as my meeting with the texter. "Not possible. I have an engagement." "This is our only chance, Nolan," she insisted. "He is talking about leaving the country, taking Meredith with him. He plans to use his money and connections to destroy you legally before he goes." I considered my options. "Fine. The penthouse. 11:30 p.m. Come alone." After hanging up, I texted Rosalind. "Change of plans. Need you at my penthouse at 11 tomorrow night. Vanessa is bringing the stolen files." Her response was immediate. "What about the cabin meeting?" "I will handle it," I assured her. "Just be ready for a potential double-cross at the penthouse." I went to bed that night with my mind racing, sensing that everything was coming to a head. Tomorrow would determine whether my plan succeeded or failed catastrophically. What I could not know was that someone else had been monitoring my communications all along, anticipating my every move and preparing a counterstrike that would change everything. The next evening, rain pounded against the penthouse windows as I prepared for Vanessa's arrival. I had sent Dylan to stay with his best friend's family for the night, ignoring his protests. No matter what transpired, I was determined to keep him out of the crossfire. At precisely 10:45, Rosalind arrived accompanied by 2 members of her team, former military contractors who now worked for her private security firm. "The building is secure," she informed me, checking her weapon before concealing it beneath her jacket. "We have eyes on all entrances. If this is a setup, we'll know before they reach the elevator." Regarding the cabin, I had my associate Martin stationed there with thermal imaging. If anyone appeared, we would know. At 11:27, the security desk called to announce Vanessa's arrival. Rosalind and her team moved into positions out of sight, while I stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, my back to the door, a deliberate posture of control. A minute later, the elevator chimed. "It's open," I called without turning around. Footsteps approached, too heavy to be Vanessa's. I spun around to find not my wife, but Lawrence standing in my living room, Perry beside him, looking profoundly uneasy. "Surprised?" Lawrence asked, a smirk on his face. "Not particularly," I replied, maintaining my composure. "Where's Vanessa?" "Safe," Lawrence assured me. "Unlike you." He drew a gun, the same one he had used to threaten my children. Perry's eyes widened. "Lawrence, you said we were just going to talk." "Plans change," Lawrence said dismissively. "Your brother needs to understand his position." I kept my expression neutral, knowing Rosalind was watching, waiting for my signal. "And what position is that?" "One of complete defeat," Lawrence declared. "I have your wife. I have your daughter. Well, my daughter. I have your company's future plans. By this time tomorrow, your clients will be abandoning you for my new venture." All that effort, I observed. 8 years of sleeping with my wife, stealing my intellectual property, paying off this mysterious Voss person. Tell me, was it worth it? Lawrence's expression faltered. "How do you know about Voss?" "I know everything, Lawrence," I bluffed. "Every offshore account, every hidden transaction, the payoff of every blackmail scheme. The question is, does Vanessa know what you have truly been doing?" Perry edged away from Lawrence, sensing the situation deteriorating. "Lawrence, perhaps we should just go." "This isn't." "Shut up," Lawrence snapped. "Your brother destroyed my marriage years ago. He took clients that should have been mine. This is justice." I laughed coldly. "This is pathetic. You couldn't build your own success, so you decided to steal mine, including my wife and child." Lawrence raised the gun higher. "You always thought you were better than me, the self-made man who started with nothing. Did you ever tell Vanessa that your first major client came through my family connections? That without me, you would still be pouring concrete foundations. Is that what this has been about? Wounded pride. It is about what is mine," Lawrence shouted. "The company should have been equal partners from the beginning. Instead, you took majority control and treated me like an employee." I stepped closer, ignoring the gun. "Because that is what you are, Lawrence. An employee. A mediocre one at that." Lawrence's hand trembled with rage. "You think I will not shoot you? Right here. If that was your plan, you would have done it already," I observed calmly. "Now, put the gun down before my security team puts you down." On cue, Rosalind and her associates emerged from hiding, weapons trained on Lawrence and Perry. Lawrence's face contorted with fury. You think this changes anything? I still have everything I need to destroy you. Not quite, came a female voice from the elevator. We all turned to see Vanessa standing there, clutching a large leather portfolio. Behind her stood Meredith, her eyes red from crying. What are you doing here? Lawrence demanded. You were supposed to wait in the car. I am done waiting, Vanessa declared. Done hiding. Done being controlled. She stepped forward and placed the portfolio on my coffee table. Everything he took from the safe. All of it. Lawrence lunged for it. However, Rosalind's associate intercepted him, disarming the man with practiced efficiency. You fool, Lawrence, Vanessa spat. After all I have done for you, you have done nothing but manipulate and threaten me for years, Vanessa replied, her voice steady despite evident fear. You used my one mistake to control my entire life. She turned to me. I cannot undo what I did, Nolan, but I can stop it from destroying anything else. Harry stepped forward. Nolan, I swear I did not know about the gun. I thought we were only going to talk. Save it, I cut him off. You chose your side long ago. Meredith approached me hesitantly. Dad? Nolan, not now. I interrupted, turning to Rosalind. Secure Lawrence. Perry as well. You cannot hold me here, Perry protested. Watch me, I replied coldly. As Rosalind's team restrained Lawrence and Perry with zip ties, my phone buzzed with an alert from Martin at the cabin. Subject approaching cabin on foot. Male, approximately 60 years old, carrying a briefcase. The mysterious contact had arrived at the meeting point. I showed the message to Rosalind. I need to go now, she said incredulously. What about them? She gestured toward our captives. Keep them secure. I will return in 2 hours. I turned to Vanessa and Meredith. You two stay here as well? We are not finished. Nolan, please, Vanessa began. But I was already heading for the elevator. Dad, wait, Meredith called out, the word dad striking me like a physical blow. I hesitated, then continued without looking back. As the elevator doors closed, I heard Lawrence's desperate voice. He is going to see Voss. Stop him. The final piece was about to fall into place. The drive to Mount Hood took just over an hour. The forested road was slick with rain and treacherous in the darkness. I kept the headlights off as I neared the cabin, parking a quarter-mile away and proceeding on foot with only a small tactical flashlight to guide my way. Martin materialized from the trees like a ghost. The subject has entered the cabin. The cabin, 20 minutes ago. There has been no other movement since. Is anyone else in the area? Not that we have detected, he confirmed. But visibility is poor in this weather. I handed him my phone. If I am not out in 30 minutes, call this number. I had programmed the direct line of an FBI agent, Teresa Hammond, a former client who owed me a favor. The cabin was small and rustic, a dim light visible through rain-streaked windows. I circled it once, confirming there were no other exits beyond the front door and a small bathroom window, too narrow for an adult to escape through. Taking a deep breath, I knocked firmly. It's open, called a voice from inside. I entered cautiously, my hand near the concealed weapon at my waist. The cabin's interior was spare, a table, 2 chairs, a small kitchenette, and a wood stove providing both heat and the room's only illumination. Seated at the table was an older man with silver hair and aristocratic features, dressed in an expensive suit despite the wilderness setting. Before him sat a leather briefcase and a bottle of bourbon with 2 glasses. Nolan Riker, he greeted me. Finally, we meet in person. I am Alexander Voss. I remain standing. You're a friend? He smiled thinly. I prefer to think of myself as an interested observer. Please sit. We have much to discuss. I prefer to stand, I replied coldly. Why have you been sending me those texts? What is your connection to Lawrence? Voss poured himself a drink. Lawrence Woodfield is merely a pawn, a useful idiot with resources and a convenient weakness for your wife. You orchestrated this, I realized. The affair, the betrayal, all of it. He laughed. Give me some credit, but not too much. The affair was organic enough. Your wife was lonely. Lawrence was attentive. I simply nurtured the situation once I discovered it. Why? I demanded. What could you possibly gain from destroying my family? Voss studied me for a long moment. Does the name Thomas Riker mean anything to you? The question caught me off guard. My father. He passed away when I was 12. A construction accident, they said. Is that what your mother told you? Voss inquired, his tone abruptly sharp. A chill coursed through me. What are you talking about? Voss opened his briefcase, withdrew a file, and slid it across the table. Thomas Riker didn't die in an accident. He was murdered after he discovered that his construction company was being used to launder money for certain criminal enterprises in Portland. I stared at the file, but did not touch it. You're lying. See for yourself, Voss insisted. Police reports. Autopsy findings suppressed by a corrupt medical examiner. Witness statements that mysteriously disappeared from evidence. What does this have to do with me? I asked, though a terrible suspicion was forming. Everything, Voss said simply. Because the man who ordered your father's murder was my brother, Victor Voss. And you, Nolan, have spent the last 15 years systematically destroying every business connection my family ever had in this state. The revelation struck me like a physical blow. I never targeted your family. I didn't even know. Of course you didn't know. Consciously, Voss interrupted. But subconsciously, you were drawn to the same industries, the same clients. One by one, you took contracts from companies connected to our interests. It cost us millions. So this was revenge, I concluded, for something I didn't even know I was doing. Voss shook his head. Not revenge. Insurance. I needed leverage over you before you destroyed everything. Lawrence provided that opportunity by sleeping with my wife and fathering a child. I asked incredulously. The affair was convenient, Voss explained. But what I really needed was access to your business plans, your client relationships. Lawrence was motivated by greed and ego, the perfect combination for manipulation. I finally sat down, processing this information. You've been paying Lawrence to spy on me. I've been paying Lawrence to be my eyes inside your company, Voss corrected. To identify vulnerabilities. Which of your actions might have affected my family's interests? The affair with your wife was merely a bonus. It granted him access to your home, your personal life, and the message that began all of this. I asked, why expose them now? Voss smiled coldly. Because Lawrence became a liability, too emotionally involved, too unstable. I needed you to understand what was unfolding so you could manage the problem for me. You expected me to kill him. I expected you to destroy him, Voss clarified. Whether that destruction was literal or figurative did not matter to me, but I knew your reputation. The ruthless businessman who never forgives a betrayal. Lawrence signed his own death warrant the moment he touched your wife. I stood up abruptly. You misjudged me. I am not a murderer. Perhaps not, Voss conceded. But you are a destroyer, Nolan. You will dismantle Lawrence's life piece by piece. You will leave him with nothing. And once you are done, I will step in to offer him a way out, in exchange for certain considerations. And what about Vanessa? Meredith? Were they just collateral damage in your game? Voss shrugged. Family is always collateral damage in the wars men wage. You should know that better than most. Why tell me this now? I demanded. You could have remained in the shadows. Because we have reached an inflection point, Voss explained, leaning forward. My brother is dying. Cancer. He wishes to make amends before the end, including with the son of Thomas Riker. Amends, I repeated incredulously. He had your father killed and has regretted it every day since, Voss claimed. He wants to meet you, to explain, to offer restitution. I laughed bitterly. There is no restitution for murdering someone's father. There is the truth, Voss countered. Is that not what you have been seeking all along? The truth behind every betrayal. He was manipulating me. I knew it. And yet, the possibility of finally understanding what had happened to my father, the real story, not the sanitized version my mother had told me, was almost irresistible. Irresistible? What happens now? I asked. Voss closed his briefcase. That depends on you. Lawrence is finished. We both know that your marriage is over. But your company remains. Your son remains. And now you have the truth about your father. What do you want from me? Nothing. Right now, Voss said, standing. Consider this information a gesture of good faith. My brother is at Providence Hospital, room 412. He has perhaps a week left. Whether you visit him is your choice. As Voss moved toward the door, I called after him. This doesn't change anything. If what you're saying is true, your family destroyed mine first. Voss paused in the doorway. There's something you should know about Meredith. Lawrence isn't her father. My heart seemed to stop. What? DNA doesn't lie, Voss said. But Lawrence's ego does. He convinced himself and Vanessa of his paternity because it served his purposes. It gave him control over your wife. Then who? She's yours, Nolan. Always has been. With that parting revelation, Voss disappeared into the rain, leaving me alone with a file full of explosive truths and even more questions than before. The drive back to Portland passed in a blur, my mind reeling from Voss's revelations. If what he claimed was true, about my father, about Meredith, everything I thought I knew had been built on lies. I called Martin. Follow Voss. I want to know everywhere he goes, everyone he contacts. Already on it, he confirmed. He's heading back toward Portland. Next, I called Rosalind. Any developments? Lawrence tried to escape, she reported. Got himself tasered for the effort. Perry's been cooperative, mostly crying about family loyalty. Vanessa and Meredith are waiting in the guest room. And the portfolio Vanessa brought, everything seems to be there. All the files, the hard drive, even the safety deposit box key. I ended the call, then dialed a new number. Vanessa's obstetrician, Dr. Eliza Montgomery. Despite the late hour, she answered. Dr. Montgomery, this is Nolan Riker. I apologize for calling at such an hour, but the matter is urgent. Mr. Riker, is everything all right with Vanessa or Meredith? I need to verify something regarding Meredith's birth, I stated plainly. Was a paternity test ever performed? There was a prolonged silence. Mr. Riker, you must understand, I cannot disclose such information. Doctor, my family is being torn apart over a claim concerning Meredith's paternity. I must know the truth. Another pause followed. No paternity test was conducted because there was never any doubt. You were present at the birth. The blood typing was consistent. There was simply no reason to test. But if Lawrence Woodfield asserted he was the father, that would be scientifically impossible. Dr. Montgomery interjected. Meredith possesses a rare blood antigen that runs in your family line. Lawrence could not possibly be her biological father. Relief washed over me, swiftly chased by a surge of fury. They had lied about the most fundamental truth a parent could know, the very paternity of his own child. Thank you, doctor, I said, and ended the call. By the time I reached the penthouse, my resolve was absolute. This would end tonight. I found Lawrence and Perry still restrained in the living room, under the watch of Rosalind's team. Vanessa and Meredith emerged from the guest room upon hearing my return. Everyone, sit down. I commanded, my tone brooking no argument. This ends now. Meredith looked terrified. Vanessa appeared resigned. Lawrence maintained his defiance, while Perry seemed to have aged years in the hours I had been away. I have just come from a meeting with Alexander Voss, I announced, watching the color drain from Lawrence's face. I know everything. The arrangement you made, the payments, the espionage. Nolan, I can explain, Lawrence began. Be silent. I cut him off sharply. You have told enough lies to last a lifetime. I turned to Vanessa. Did you know that Meredith is my biological daughter? Vanessa's eyes widened in genuine shock. What? No, Lawrence said. Lawrence lied. I stated flatly. I have just confirmed it. I have confirmed it with Dr. Montgomery. Meredith possesses the same rare blood antigen as my father and myself. Lawrence could not possibly be her father. Meredith gasped, looking between us all in confusion. So you are my real dad? I have always been your real dad, I told her, my voice softening slightly. Biology merely confirms what was always true. Lawrence shook his head desperately. No, that's impossible. Vanessa told me. I never told you anything. Vanessa cried. You convinced me. You showed me supposed evidence. I nodded to Rosalind, who cut Lawrence's restraints. You have exactly 1 minute to explain yourself, I said, before I have you arrested for corporate espionage, kidnapping, and fraud. Lawrence stood, rubbing his wrists. Voss approached me 5 years ago. He said he needed information about your business dealings and offered a substantial payment. It seemed harmless at first, just reporting on contracts and clients. And my wife, my daughter, were they just bonus prizes? I asked coldly. The affair started before Voss, Lawrence admitted, but he encouraged it. He said it gave me leverage. When Vanessa got pregnant the second time, he suggested I claim paternity and created false evidence. You manipulated me for 15 years, Vanessa whispered, horror dawning on her face. You used my guilt over one mistake to control everything. I loved you, Lawrence insisted. Everything I did was for us. Enough, I interrupted. Here is what happens now, Lawrence. You are going to sign over your entire stake in Riker Construction. You are going to confess to corporate espionage in writing. Then you are going to leave Portland and never contact my family again. And if I refuse? Lawrence challenged, a hint of his old arrogance returning. I smiled coldly. Then I release everything I have on you and Voss to the FBI. His brother might be dying, but the Voss family still has plenty to lose. How long do you think you would survive once they know you have been exposed? Lawrence paled. You wouldn't, he tried. I have already, I replied. I have arranged for Agent Hammond to receive everything unless I cancel the automated email by morning. Defeated, Lawrence slumped back into his chair. What choice do I have? None, I confirmed. I turned to Perry. As for you, brother. Perry looked up, his eyes pleading. Nolan, I was trying to protect the family, to keep things from exploding by playing both sides. By considering lying about me being abusive, I shook my head in disgust. You are no longer welcome in my home or my business. The family cabin is yours. Sell it, keep it, I don't care. But we're done. Nolan, please, Perry began. We're done, I repeated firmly. Finally, I turned to Vanessa and Meredith. Vanessa, I'm filing for divorce. I'll provide fair settlement terms, but our marriage is over. The betrayal may have been built on Lawrence's lies, but you chose to continue it for years. Vanessa nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I never expected forgiveness. Just please don't shut out Meredith. I looked at my daughter, truly my daughter, her face so like mine in its stubbornness and intelligence. Meredith stays with me. If you want to contest that, we can let her decide. Meredith stepped forward. I want to stay with you, Dad. If that's okay. It's more than okay, I assured her, allowing myself the first genuine smile in weeks. Dawn was breaking as Rosalind's team escorted Lawrence away to sign the necessary paperwork. Harry left without another word, the weight of his choices visible in his slumped shoulders. Vanessa agreed to move to her sister's while divorce proceedings began. As the penthouse emptied, I found myself alone with my children, both of them, Dylan having returned early that morning. What happens now, Dad? Dylan asked. I looked at the Voss file on the table, thinking of the dying man in Providence Hospital who had ordered my father's murder decades ago. Now we rebuild, I said, placing an arm around each of them. And we remember who we can trust. My phone, a final message from Voss buzzed through. Closure awaited in room 412. But I deleted it. Victor Voss could perish without my forgiveness. Some betrayals are simply beyond pardon. Outside, the rain had ceased. A new day was dawning. Not a clean slate, for I would never forget nor forgive those who had betrayed me, but a fresh chapter written upon my own terms. Let's go home, I told my children. The real work begins now. And so, here our story draws to a close. Share your reflections in the comments below. Thank you for your time. If this tale has resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel.